Welcome back everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to smoke beef cheeks in a charcoal barbecue. So we're going to get started by setting our barbecue up. Now we're going to be using our Oklahoma Joe's Blackjack kettle, but if you've got another kettle style barbecue, you can follow along too. So we'll start by taking our cooking grate out. Then you want to get some briquettes ready because in this video, we're going to be using the snake method. But if you've got another favorite low and slow method, then feel free to use that. So whatever briquettes you're using, you want to just stack them up like so in a domino fashion. I like to run a double stack on the bottom layer. And we'll build our snake about 3/4 of the way around our charcoal grate. Alright, and now we can build our second layer. Now if you're using larger briquettes, you can just run a single stack through the middle, but because these ones are a little bit smaller, we're just going to run a double stack on top and go right the way around again. Alright, and now our snake's done. We just want to get 12 briquettes in a charcoal chimney and we'll use them to start our snake. So we'll take our chimney out for a moment, get a couple of firelighters in there, light them up and get our charcoal chimney back on. Alright, so we've got about 10 minutes before those briquettes are going to be ready, so we'll use that time to trim and season these beef cheeks. Alright, so beef cheeks, they're a fantastic cut. There's so much intramuscular fat in there. They're really nice and rich. But we're going to get started by trimming this silver skin and any excess fat off. Right, and that's essentially what you want to be left with. There's quite a bit of connective tissue and stuff within a beef cheek, but that will break down nicely as we cook them. So we'll go ahead, get this second one trimmed up, and then we'll season them. Right, now let's season them up. Alright, so if you've got a favourite beef rub, go ahead and use that, but we're going to be using a combination of our garlic galls and some Heavenly Hell pistol powder. I've only got a little bit of garlic galls left in this shaker, so I'm just going to top it up with some of this pistol powder and get these beef cheeks seasoned up. Alright, our beef cheeks are trimmed and seasoned, our briquettes are ready, so let's set the rest of this barbecue up. Alright, so that's what you want to see with your startup briquettes, nice, ashed over and red hot. So now what we want to do is pour them in at the start of our snake. Then you just want to make sure they're stacked up nicely. You want your startup briquettes to be all over that unlit stuff. Then we can shut our lid and make sure our top and bottom vents are wide open. Alright, so we're just going to give our barbecue 5 to 10 minutes to preheat now. That's going to allow all of those unlit briquettes to preheat so they can catch light at a hot enough temperature to burn cleanly throughout this cook without producing any dirty smoke. As long as you've got some quality briquettes and your snake's set up right, your barbecue's preheated, you're not going to get any dirty smoke throughout the cook. It's the same concept as the Minion method where you're using a bunch of unlit briquettes to fuel a long smoke like we're doing today. So after about 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to get these beef cheeks in. We've also got some smoking wood ready. We've chosen to go with some wine barrel oak from Natural Smoke. But if you've got another favourite smoking wood for beef, go ahead and use that. So there's not much more left for us to do now, so we'll be back once this barbecue's ready. Alright, so it's been about 10 minutes. Let's open this lid up. We'll get a chunk of our smoking wood straight on where the fire's burning. And then another piece up here. We'll get a drip tray in. We'll get our cooking grate on. We'll get our beef cheeks in. And I'll hook up a grill probe as well. And then we can shut our lid. Alright, so now our beef cheeks are on. You want to see exactly what we've got happening here. That thin, clear, blue-looking smoke. You don't want to be seeing any thick, heavy white smoke. That's really going to leave a bad taste on whatever you've got in your barbecue. If you do see that heavy white smoke, just double check that smoking wood size chunk you've used. You don't want to use massive chunks that are just going to smother those 12 startup briquettes, or you might not have enough oxygen in your barbecue, so make sure both your top and bottom vents are as wide open as they can be. And also make sure that your startup briquettes are completely ashed over and red hot before you put them in your barbecue too. So we're going to look to stabilize our temperature off at about the 275 Fahrenheit or 135 Celsius range for this cook. So once our barbecue gets back up to around the 225 Fahrenheit or 110 Celsius range, I'm going to shut that bottom vent down to almost closed. Then I'm going to give the barbecue 10 minutes to sort of find itself and stabilize off. Then I'll make any necessary adjustments after that. Now following that process usually stabilizes my temperatures off just below where I want to be, which is perfect because it's always easier to increase your temperature rather than decrease your temperature. I'd rather be just below because all I've got to do to increase my temperature is open that bottom vent up slightly, but if I've got a decreased temperature and my bottom vent is almost shut already, then it's going to be a little bit challenging to bring them temperatures back down. If your temperatures have gotten away from you, you can put some boiling water in that drip tray. That's going to absorb some heat and can help stabilize your temperatures off. You can also shut down your top vent a little bit. I don't like shutting down my top vent as that really starts to choke your fire. So if you do decide to do that, just do it little bit by little bit, or worst case scenario, you can take some of the red hot briquettes out that are in there. But for now, the first 2 hours of this cook is just going to be about stabilizing our temperatures off. We don't really have to do too much more apart from that, so we'll check back in soon. All right, our beef cheeks have been in for almost 2 hours now, so let's have a look at them. All right, and just so you can see, we're holding nice around our target temperature. These are looking really nice. Just going to give them a little spritz. That's just a little bit of water, but if you've got beef stock or apple cider vinegar, that works as well. Then we'll shut our lid and let them keep smoking away. So those beef cheeks were looking amazing. They've got a beautiful bark on them, so I reckon the next time we check them in about 45 minutes or so, we'll be ready to wrap them up. All right, so it's been another 45 minutes, so we're almost 3 hours in total into this cook. These beef cheeks are looking amazing. You should be able to touch around on them, and none of that rub should be coming off on your finger, and that's how you know your bark's set. So now it's time to wrap these up. So I've just put some high heat gloves on. I'm going to remove our cooking grate for a moment. Take this tray out, and I'll put our beef cheeks in there. Put our cooking grate back in, and I'm going to keep it super simple today. I'm just going to fill our tray up with some beef stock. Just going to fill it up enough so it covers about half of our beef cheeks. Then we'll cover our tray with foil. And we'll get our beef cheeks back in, and the way I've positioned it is so it's not going to be over any burning part of the snake. So we'll shut our lid and let it keep going. So feel free to add whatever sort of liquid you want, or you can add beef stock with a combination of herbs and spices or other aromatics. You could even add some stout or something like red wine in there. But like I said, we're going to be keeping this super simple, and now all we need to do is take these beef cheeks until they are probing tender. Now with beef cheeks, because there's so much connective tissue in there and it's a relatively small cut, I like to take them a bit further than that classic 205 Fahrenheit or 96 degrees Celsius internal. I usually find with beef cheeks they need to go more towards that 210 to 215 Fahrenheit or 98 to 101-ish degrees Celsius internal. I reckon that's going to still take us another 2 or 3 hours to get there, so if you've got a meat probe, chuck one in and we'll come back soon. Alright, our beef cheeks have been wrapped up for almost 3 hours, so we're just about 6 hours in total into this cook. I reckon they're just about ready, so let's have a look. Alright, we're still holding nicely around our target temperature. It's shot up a little bit, but I'm not concerned about that. So let's open up our lid, take this foil off. And I thought I'd also show you the new Inkbird pen style thermometer. Now it's pretty versatile. It is a pen fast read type, but you also can put some probes in it too. So if you want to check it out, I'll put some links down in the description. Let's have a probe around. Wow, there's just no resistance there at all. And as you can see, we're up around that 212-ish Fahrenheit. That would be about 99-ish degrees Celsius. That's exactly where you want to be at. I'm really happy with them, so we can take them out. And then we're going to make a quick taco sauce because I'm going to make some beef cheek tacos. Our snake's still burning quite hot around there, so I'm going to put on a brown onion and then around a dozen Perino Gold tomatoes. Now we can leave our lid open. We just want to get a bit of color on them. Then they can come out and we'll make the rest of this taco sauce. All right, so I've just covered that tray we had our beef cheeks in loosely with foil. And then I've also got a couple of Mexican chilies here. While we're getting some color on our onions and tomatoes, I'm gonna soak these in some boiling water for about 20 minutes, and then we'll come back to make the rest of this taco sauce. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes. We've got some nice color on these tomatoes and the onion. So we'll get this into our food processor. And then to that, we'll add our Mexican chilies, a nice little handful of coriander, and then I'd usually use fresh garlic, but I actually don't have any, so we're just going to give it a nice little whack with our garlic goals. And we'll put our lid on and blend it up. And once it's done, should be a nice sauce type consistency. If you want it a little bit more runnier, then add some of the liquid from our beef cheeks. Have a taste, adjust it to your liking. Then we can toast a nice white corn tortilla. Then while our tortilla is toasting, I'm going to show you how tender these beef cheeks are. Look at that. Seriously incredible. And then once our tortilla is done, we can pack on some of that beautiful beef cheek meat and get some of that beautiful taco sauce on. Now just be careful, that sauce is going to be spicy. Then you can put whatever else you want on. I'm going to put some coriander. You can put some sliced white onion on there if you want. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Top it off with a squeeze of fresh lime. Then it's time to taste. All right, now for the moment of truth. Oh man, wow, that is so good. If you haven't had beef cheeks, definitely try them. They are very rich and beefy compared to your normal oyster blades or your chuck steak that you'd normally use for pulled beef. So that's the end of the video, everyone. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.